MBT is a theory of everything. A toe, a big picture toe, a big toe. How did you arrive at these
Well,
terms?
it's all of those things. It's a toe because it's a theory of everything, a TOE. That's a word that, or an acronym that Einstein created when he was looking for a toe that was going to derive both quantum mechanics and relativity. He didn't find that toe, but people have been looking for this big overall picture that explains everything. Now, from the scientific point of view, explaining everything just meant explaining quantum mechanics and relativity because those were the two sciences that explained everything else. So that's why that was a toe, theory of everything. And they knew there had to be this overarching theory because there's parts of quantum mechanics that are just philosophically at odds with parts of relativity. They just aren't compatible in some ways. And that means there must be something bigger that can derive both of them, something more comprehensive from which they're both a part. So each one of those sciences does some part, but it doesn't do everything. It just does a part. And there must be some science at the higher level of aggregation that actually derives those two and explains those two. Now mine's a big toe because I don't stop just with explaining the objective world, science, quantum mechanics and relativity. I also explain the subjective world. So it's all about the physical world, the objective world, but it's also all about the subjective world, mind, as well as matter. So that's why it's a big toe. A theory that lets you derive everything, including why you're unhappy, why you're struggling in life, why you feel unfulfilled. Those are all things that have nothing to do with the objective world. They have to do just with the inside world, but it describes all those things. So if you can describe all those things, then it becomes inclusive. Everyone and everyone's what needs to understand, be it the physical world or the interior world of mind, will all find a structure, a logical scientific structure that explains to them what it is they need to know, what the issues are, what the problems are, and a logical resolution of those issues. So yes, it kind of unites everything under one larger understanding.
You say it's inclusive, which is widely acceptable, because it defines a common unified understanding from Buddha, mystic traditions, and Eckhart Tolle, self-help and development, to Niels Bohr and John Wheeler. Atheists and theists both find in MBT a logical system that explains and supports their views. The fundamental concept in MBT is that reality is information-based, an idea that it's gaining ground rapidly among physicists worldwide.
Yes, it is. I'd say that 25-30% of all the physicists out there, probably a higher percent if you just talk to the younger ones, or even a higher percent yet if you just talk to the younger ones that are in the best institutions. Like Caltech and the MITs, and over in Europe, CERN and other places where the best tend to get together. And that is because quantum mechanics and also neuroscience and several other things, biology as well, have been pointing toward this being an information-based reality. So it's gone in a decade and a half from a crazy idea to an idea whose time has come in science. It is the biggest growing concept in science, and it is a game changer. It's a big, big paradigm shift for science to go from a material-based reality to an information-based reality.
Now, a good theory has few assumptions. How many assumptions does MBT theory have?
It has just two. Yes, it's said in physics that if you're trying to describe something fundamental, then it has to be simple and it has to be elegant. And part of that is what's called Occam's razor, which is a philosophical thing that says that the simpler thing is likely to be true. If something is usually complex, and if it's a fundamental thing, then it's probably not true. The fewer assumptions, this is one of Einstein's quotes, the aim of all physics, he said, was to explain the largest number of facts with the fewest number of assumptions. And basically, I have just two. One, that consciousness exists, which is not too wild since we all believe we're conscious, and that evolution exists as a process whereby try everything and keep what works, discard what doesn't. That's the basic process of evolution.